Bizarre Brain Comics. Hello, my comic book friends, and welcome to Bizarre Brain Comics. I'm Gary, your host. This is where I usually like to take a look at some older comics, talk a little bit about the characters and creators, and examine the stories and the art. This time is not so much older. This, we're going to take a look at Front Range Tales #2. And this is an independent publication from Redbud Studios. And I'm not even sure, don't even know what year this is from, because I can't find it on here anywhere. But it's just within the last 3 or 4 years, I think. This is, I did a haul from recently, a series of haul videos of comics that I picked up at a collector's fair. And this is one that I got. I did not show it on those videos just because I was intending to do this one. And this is a small independent publication. And it is edited by Ron Fortier and was it Rob Davis? Is that right? Yeah, Rob Davis. He's the artist. Rob Davis also did this cover, and he draws one of the stories in here. Now, and Ron Fortier, he's a writer. He's a relatively local guy. He's up in north of Denver here, in the Fort Collins area, and I guess he teaches a comic book writing class at Front Range Community College, hence Front Range. And now, if I understood correctly when I got this, I don't know how often this gets published. I don't think there's any regular set schedule, but they had 2 or 3 other issues there, and this is just the one that I had picked up. But I had another one that was at least issue 4, if not issue 5, and of course this is anthology format. And if I understood correctly, I messaged Ron, and he confirmed that he teaches the class and stuff. That as I understand, he gets some of these writers from his class, just a few from his class, and they get with some artists, and they produce these stories. Now, in this first one, the artwork is, and this is the title story here, but it's the different artist, however. And that artist is, now I suddenly, something wrong with my brain. Gary Kato. You'd think I could remember Gary. Gary Kato, who has been a long-time artist, and especially in independent stuff. But I used to see him more frequently in earlier times in the 80s, and he did his style then was much more similar to Steve Ditko's best work. It just had a strong Ditko influence. It's not, his natural style has evolved away from a lot of the Ditko stuff, but you still see little hints in there. And so Ron Fortier teaches these people how to write comic stories, and then they're able to get some stuff published. Now, Ron Fortier is a long time comic writer for various stuff. I'll do more on him another time. He focuses a lot on very pulpy type stuff, and he writes novels that are like the old pulp stories, and he's done some comics. And I'm currently reading a miniseries that he did back in the 90s for for an episode here on the Green Hornet, and that's going real well. So we'll take a little look inside here. Okay, and our first of 3 stories is the Guardian Queen. I'm not going to go too much into. You can see the nice Gary Kato, nice good bold inking. I like his inking style on here, and his story continuity, storytelling, panel continuity is pretty fine. Is pretty good, and this was written by Olivia DeGain. Did I say that right? And I wouldn't say it's. I like the kind of the Guardian Queen. She's like a lioness, and have these other beings. Don't know much about this world. She's rushes to this city under her domain that has been ravaged by some raiders, and chastises them for doing away with their warrior traditions. Gets the few people who still have had the warrior training, and they're using some kind of magic reconstructing the city. She starts them off, and they get this spectacular thing there, and then again chastises them. As she takes off, she runs into the bad guys and said, "Now it's time for some fun." It's a little kind of disjointed. It's more like a little snippet of a larger story, so we don't really know what's going on too much. Could use some more explanation. And here we have the East Coast Pretenders. This is kind of funny, and some really nice artwork here. This one's written by Max Williams with art by Kevin Wiggins and letters by Rob Davis. And here's the people. Looks like walking down City Street, and there's stuff on the news about some big millionaire named Clark losing some money, maybe losing his stuff. Now I want to show here. Then click. We see this camera, and it's like a product illustration for this camera. It's really nicely done, superbly done. And turns out, it's a guy dressed as Spider-Man, but of course it's Spider-Guy. We can't invoke the ire of the Big M. He's not very he's slim. Cons him into, basically forces them to buy the photographs taken with the people in the superhero costumes, and they're basically bullying. Get the money. When he's got a wad of money, thanks the other guys who back him up, turns up to the Clark fella office, hands over the money, and says it's a pretty cool scam. And they've got all these people dressed up as superheroes, basically mugging people for pictures. And it's a nice little story, short story, tongue in cheek, and is it's enjoyable. I forgot to mention that it's good printing quality and paper. This is the glossy paper like you get for covers here, and this is, I think, is probably overall the best story. Swords, written by Scott Ladzinski and art by Rob Davis. It's at a San Diego Comics Convention. Obviously, has a lot of good reference for the actual location, and here the couple of ladies going to the convention and griping about how much it costs and how crowded it is and stuff, which is understandable. I would too. I've never been to the San Diego Comic Con. And then one of the ladies happens to here's one of the artists, and this is a guy she happens to know, and she says, "Don't you remember me? I'm so and so." And then I get the flashback to, because they were in high school together. He was a nice but nerdy kid, and she just blew him off when he tried to be nice to her. And she keeps talking about another time, and we get another flashback. And he's drawing and stuff, him getting bullied, and that other stuff. Then back in contemporary times, he says, Well, it's really nice to see you. I'm sorry. Here's my wife. We gotta go to lunch. Whatever. She said, "Who was that?" So the lady walks away dejected because she is rejected the way she had rejected him, only not so cruelly. And who is that? He said, nah, she's nobody. And then this gives his little wife a peck. And that is actually the best story. And this is just a short little overview of this book. I thought it would have a good look at it. It says, New Tales from the Comic Creators of Tomorrow. The back is an ad for the printer. And see, was there any information here? Posted in the United States, all rights, Pan American, yada yada. Oh, I was trying to see if there's any information I could give, but I don't see any. So I do want to thank you for joining me. This is just a little small independent publication, and I think it deserves to get some coverage to help encourage new creators. And again, thank you for joining me. Please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. Tell me which artists and which writers, which of these stories you liked best from my brief description. And again, thank you for joining me. And remember people, comics are art.